I love to have fun, you know this. So let's go for.
Oh, that's too big.
It's too big. Too big.
Maybe 80. 5. Or you can just select here, have it in the middle, the text. Do you want to sit?
No.
Good.
Oh, can you connect it? Can you connect? Can you connect, please? Can you put the light off?
No, from here, sir. You will adjust from here. We will do from here.
Yeah. Take it down. No. This is the guy from Paris. You will see. This is a game that
He was Salama. Why did you put Salama? He was Salama, and why did you put Salama?
فیلمون نابود میشه من تاریخش بکنم الان این خوبه
نه این خوبه. از این دیگه
از این کمتر نکنید لطفا
شما هر چی فکر کنید. اوکی.
ببین اونا باید بگن.
اونا رو مهم نیست
خب الان خاموش کن.
صحبت کن.
الو.
Hello?
خاموش
What is the subject?
A composite.
تست صدا خانم بزن یه دقیقه چیزی نگید یک دوسته بگید 1 2 3 test
1, 2, 3.
دکتر test 1 2 3
He's testing your speaker.
Test.
خاموشه.
Test.
چیزش خاموشه.
روشن
روشن کنم.
روشن داره یک دوسته
What?
نه it's okay. No, no, it's on.
برچی رو به صدا نگید
خاموشش کردی.
Hello, yeah. It's working. Hello, test. Why it's showing like this? So good morning. Thank you very much for being here. You know, time is something very nice. Mr. Dean, Professor Hisham, thank you for coming, for being 8:50 exactly, coming from Ajman. Thank you very much. So we'll be waiting, you know. Next time we'll be doing the course with sponsor with Rolex. So everybody will have a better watch. So, should I start? Okay. Yeah. The carpet is mine. So, thank you very much for being here. As you see today, we'll be discussing something that is on the move, on what's ongoing in the dental field. And I am honestly, no. Okay, no, you should remove this small window. It cannot be. Okay, so I'm very pleased to share, you know, with, as you can see, with the beauty, Mrs. Carmina. So Carmina is a smile designer, specialist, and expert.
Very pleasure to meet you all.
And together we'll try to introduce how 3D smile design will operate, okay? So, each time philanthropically, when I think about dentistry for the last 4 years, I don't know if you know this movie, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. So I think, in a way, dentistry is a lot matching with this scenario, in which we have 4 weddings and a funeral all the time. So, going to the first chapter, let me say the first wedding. I know all the, you know, the married people here, there is always, you know, the promise, then the problem, right? This is how things start. So we have a promise, then a problem, and this is what we encounter daily in our clinical practice. And the promise and the problem is interfacing mainly dentist and patient. So we have a promise given for an outcome to the patient, and usually problems start. So if I have to incriminate somewhere, and even in the presence of the dean here, and all of us, we are educators, I'm a professor of prosthodontics at the university, all the time I look at the curriculum and where I found the problem. The problem not by the curriculum itself, the curriculum is very good itself, all over. The problem is the application of the curriculum to the current status of dentistry. So what we teach, what we have learned effectively is this schematic. The moment you do an accurate treatment plan, 100% you have succeeded in the prognosis and the outcome. And effectively, if this was true, can somebody explain to me why there is so much patient's unsatisfaction? So there is a problem somewhere. So effectively, this takes us to the second wedding, or the second chapter, which we call it the 2D promise. So dentistry is in evolution, and as you can see, we are just flying about what were happening and what it's unhappening now. So it's about, you know, the expectations and the reality. So with 2D, effectively, again, it's the conflict between the dentist and the patient. And this is the major problem, because what patient wants in their subconscious, a lot of time is not in accordance with what dentist is thinking of. And this is where the problem starts. So effectively, the second problem is what I call the dental language. So we love usually to discuss with people about, the treatment plan, telling them about the treatment plan using the dental language. You will have a very nice zirconia crown with a margin of 0.5 millimeter and a speaker that will be very good. It's blah, blah, blah for them, right? So all this will not function. So technically, we have a communication skills problem. This is where the problem is. Communication. And I can bet you, go to your curriculum and please check for me 2 chapters. First one, communication skills. Second one, business. We don't have this in our curriculum. People are not trained for that. They are not trained for communication skills. They are not trained for business thinking. And this is where the problem is, especially with the current status of dentistry worldwide. What I'm showing here is applicable worldwide. So effectively, with these 2D came, the what is called digital smile design that was introduced for communication mainly. And the moment it was introduced, we all remember that it was introduced with DSD, with Dr. Kochman et al. And you remember dental photography, where the stress came that you need to have photography, which is true. We need photography for documentation. What you see is technically what we are using at our clinics in Beirut, all type of cameras, you can find it here. Of course, this smile design as introduced at the 2D era was for enhancing communication skills with the patient, with the lab, dentist, patient, which was very good. So what are the equipment needed? I will go very fast here. Effectively, we need the basic equipment, we need some accessories, and when it was introduced, I'm not doing any marketing for any company. Effectively, we have them all, so I don't have to do for any specific. But you need a camera, a DSLR camera, and you need a protocols, contraster, mirrors. These are very important to have for having a very well documented case at the photos level. So as well, you need, the brackets, the lighting, because in photography, lighting is something very important. Even I can say it's crucial to have a very good outcome. So all these accessories are needed. What kind of flashes do we need? Twin flash, ring flash, posterior, interior. It's not the subject of our discussion today. Again, we are using it. Then mobile dental photography was introduced by Style Italiano and mainly by our good friend Luis Hardan, effectively using a simple thing, something that we cannot live without, called mobile. So you can forget about your car, about your dog, about your building, but you can never ever forget your phone. So in this philosophy and go and move with my way of thinking, so we reach together the end of what is the conclusion about the day. Again, in your clinic, try always to build something called a studio photography. Studio photography can be a very small room. You don't have to have something very fancy, but always you have to avoid shooting on a dental chair. Avoid shooting on a dental chair. This is very important. So just by having, some continuous light for the video, as you can see here, you see, we have a continuous light, and this is my team in Beirut. We have this. And what are the photography protocol? What are the steps? Again, it's so complex, Dentists don't like complex photography. They don't like it. When they show you, you have to use the aperture and opening and all these things. This is nice, but we are not trained for that, okay? We have always to look for reality. Reality is very important. So this this is the protocol that should be followed in case you want to go for, remember, the 2D smile design as introduced by Kochman et al. And all the other softwares coming. You need a lateral view, lip to lip, lip resting, smile, big smile, retracted smile, 3/4, all these things. You know, we needed this protocol. You remember, I think it was 22 photos with DSD or 14 or 16. When it was introduced, you need 16 photos minimum documented to have a smile design. So you're giving a DSLR camera for a dentist that are not used to photography to give an outstanding 16 photos with a protocol. It's nice, it's needed, but with a question mark. So keep in mind, simplicity is the most important thing in life. Be simple, 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 simple. So with all these, again, protocol, again, avoid communication on dental chair, photo shooting on dental chair, avoid it. This is very, very important. And the good thing, you can have, you know, soft box and a small chair that is rotating, and you can just ask the patient to rotate, so you can take all angles without you moving. Anyway, and of course, always we need the dynamic move in order to see the movement, the relation between the teeth and the lips, sibilance, etc., etc. So we did the digital smile design as a 2D as it was introduced, but we had to move on WhatsApp because we need to go from the digital to the analog. It means, and with this, we have a model that is sent by the lab technician after doing a WhatsApp, and then we have to do a mock-up. You all know how to do a mock-up using a silicon index, you know, putting spotty light, taking it, then using any PMMA or silicon, and technically, the most important thing, a trick, very important that I found, that at the clinic, the index we are doing are okay, but not so much okay. I prefer the putty used at lab. Labs, they use a very hard putty that are really good, much better than these ones. So this is the mock-up. Again, it's not the subject of today, but again, we are traveling together among the evolution of smile design so you can understand everything. Okay? So a final result with the mock-up, very good communication tool between dentist, lab technician, and patients. Okay? But where is the problem here? That when you create a smile design, it's something very emotional. One of the most difficult gifts is perfume or glasses, because glasses are integrated in our emotion, in our subconscious. So again, design, smile design should be emotionally driven, not only facially driven, emotionally driven, which is very important. So all the softwares are good. Again, we have tested them all, and this is mainly in the 2D level. Again, I'll show you some very fast cases that we did with these, you know, old, I call it today, old softwares for the design, again, photography protocol, and we were very happy about this digital ruler, if you remember the digital ruler. You know, we were so happy that we have digital ruler, so we can give the information in reality to our lab technician, because from digital, we go back to analog again. It means we go back to the wax and stone models. So with this, again, moving to the lab, again, lab will send, will do the mock-up, and this mock-up will help to see about the outcome. I will not go through this anymore. We did it before. Again, you know, the final, just to show you a final result with a mock-up, you know, all the steps with mock-up and the final result. So again, it works. Yes, it works. But what is the cost of working? And this is very important. So another patient, Haida, she has some concern, and always you have to ask her to talk about her concern, mainly, yeah, I think I put it off, right?
Have the audio?
So, It's fine. Okay, she's saying that she's not happy, she's unhappy, her teeth didn't show, you know, the color, the shade. Okay, first thing, of course, we always have to see the relation between the two centrals, because always keep in mind the moment you fix, you adjust exactly the two central incisor, the case is over. The key of smile are the two central upper incisors. So how much it should show, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, of course this depends on the age, lips relation, and of course, you know, the smile. We'll not go through this. Again, we went through our previous smile design software, and with mock-up, we did 3 design for her. I don't know why it's fuzzy, but at the end we went to this design. It's fine, Carmina, and this is the final outcome. What you have always to see, we found out that she needed glasses. Glasses can change the face and can reflect another way of her, and I like also some lipsticking here. So talking about the 2D, the two-dimensional accuracy, how much this accurate? For all the people that did 2D smile design, I think they found out that after doing it, a lot of time you see there is a deviation, especially from the canine posteriorly. And then Carmina will explain this better than me. I always go to research that found that, again, we have a lot of deviation going in 2D smile design, and a lot of time you will lose the patient with this. He will see something on the design going to reality, expectations and reality, and you have the clash. So what is the problem with these smile design 2D softwares? Deviation means accuracy. Most important is the most expensive thing we have as dentists is time. You lose and waste time because you send to the lab technician will send to you, you adjust, you resend to the lab technician, and you go back and forth with a non-highly precise outcome. And you need skills, because you need the skills of your lab technician, you know, and this is, you cannot find it all the day. So again, this is a problem, and you're moving from digital to analog, and this is another problem as well. So then, effectively, with this, we moved to the third chapter. Third chapter means the third wedding. Third wedding is in which we have the 3D promise. So we had the first promise, the 2D promise, and we move to the 3D promise. So in 3D, it means 3-dimension. It means full digital protocol. Full digital means you don't go analog anymore. You fly digital, all over digital. I don't go to stone model and so on. Artificial intelligence. Anything you have now is artificial intelligence directed. Plus, I forgot to add augmented reality. And this is one of the projects we are doing with Carmina and Smile5. The other thing is a facially driven smile. Again, in our curriculum, we were trained to look only at the teeth. Only at the teeth, nothing else. Sometimes we look a little bit at the face. But again, a smile should be emotionally linked to the brain, to the expectation, and integrated in the face. So the digital workflow, of course, with intraoral scanning, we will have digital design in 2 ways. So, or we have 3D printed models, and we go to conventional silicon index, or we go to 3D printed mock-up placed directly, so we have nothing called model here. It's modelless. Do not forget, in dentistry, each time you add a variable, you add a problem. Each time. What is the worst restoration in dentistry? Multi-layered. What is the best restoration? Monolithic. Forget about aesthetic. More we interface people together, you go to the wedding, to the marriage, and you have a problem. Single people have less problem than married people, right? Because they are on their own. When they interface, they have problem. So again, here I will try to show today our new philosophy. And I'm not doing any marketing. I don't buy from Zara, either from Chanel. But what I want you to think about it, if I take, and I did this in Beirut, I took 100 ladies, and I asked the 100 ladies, honestly, where are you buying? Zara or Chanel? 85% are buying from Zara. 85% are visiting Chanel, but not buying from Chanel, okay? So this means we need something that is applicable for the 85% of the population, not for the 15% of the population. So let's apply this philosophy in the dental world. So what are we looking for? We are looking for something that is precise, fast. Remember, time is the problem. Repeatable, it means if I do it for the same patient today and afternoon and tomorrow, I will have the same result. And affordable, Zara. And what are they in software, hardware, material, and how can we implement this chairside? Patients, they don't like to go and come and go and come. How can we do a one-stop shopping mall? So for the people that have big clinics here, think how to do a shopping mall. That's it. Forget about 6 sessions to do a crown. 6 sessions to do a crown. This is crazy. That was applicable 60 years ago. But today, it's impossible. Bringing a patient 6 times for a crown, I think it's a crime. So how can we do it? So what is the recipe for you for the 3D success? And we'll share it. Again, I'm just sharing in science. We just share information, evidence, and point of views. So again, this is what is needed. What is needed in the battlefield? We need something that is real. You need it in the battlefield. Something that is applicable. I can do a beautiful show for you for 2 hours, showing you the topmost, something that is wow, but non-applicable for everybody. So, dental photography. Do I need to go through all these equipment and materials and for what we will be doing with our software and with Carmina? So I limit myself here to use my mobile. Again, this is what you use more. This is what you love more. So with mobile dental photography, again, from my good friend Luis Hardan, giving a very nice photos. Very nice photos. This is what is needed. Do I need for my 3D smile design, that is coming, all this protocol? We will see. We don't need it. So intraoral scanner, again, my lecture today is not on intraoral scanner, even though this is my strong point where I love to show. Okay? Again, are all the same? No. Are all good? In a way, yes. Things have changed a lot. Should I go for the most expensive? No need. Okay? Do I have everything I'm showing? I'm having them. We test them. We're having all scanner. Anything you dream of, we test it, we have it. Okay? So all these are from our premises. It's not something getting. So I tried everything. Name it. Means from 2014, we are trying digital. Learning curve, we had a lot of problems, of course, there's a learning curve, but then we humbly learned. Then, if again, I'll show you, you see, with new scanner that is affordable, very affordable, and effectively they are with precise, very fast, and we can have a lot of outcomes. So it should be simple, accurate, fast, and most important thing, you need to have a support there. What do you mean support? Support of the company that is selling you, support from the main company, and the most important thing, avoid fragmented technology. Do not buy only a scanner. It makes no sense. It will be, you know, on the corner, you will not be using it. Avoid fragmented technology. Understand software. Understand how things are moving. Understand the real application of technology. So the other enigma, and still now I don't understand how I was teaching my student to do a shade selection for teeth using a, it means it's, the shade guide is a plastic shade guide and you're going on enamel. It's a nonsense, totally nonsense approach. Totally nonsense approach. And again, we have all spectrophotometer, all digital devices, we test them, and in my opinion, we should teach and move more in this direction. So now we tested the OptiShade again, it's a very nice one. What I like about it mainly, registration of LAB is fine, but the most important thing, it shows the delta E. Delta E, it means how much your eye will see any difference on real color. And this is very, very important. So even Carmina, you tested as well, and we like it. Again, we're showing it, and mainly, again, at the lab side, they have this Matisse software in which they can build according to the communication. What I'm showing mainly here, again and again and again, is what we are testing. So for once again, all these softwares, we use them. All the software, we test them. But which software to move on? And this is what all of you are asking. Should we go with Exocad? Is a very good software, again. But we have it, but in my humble opinion, is a complex for dentists. It's made for lab technician. Then what about face scanners? You will hear a lot about face scanners. Face scanner is a good tool, but again, face scanner, very important, can take you into mistakes and error because it gives a lot of deviation. Face scanner is only used to have references, no more, no less. And they are not all the same. This is why you have to be very cautious when moving into face scanners. So we tested several, they are fine, but honestly, I don't use it anymore. Carmina, the game is yours. Thank you. So,
Can I?
yeah, you can. So as you can see, we have divided. I did this flow over for the 2D, 3D, okay, with all the mistakes. Now we're moving with Carmina for the SmileFi introduction. Then we're moving with clinical application. Anything you will see here will show you exactly the clinical application with cases from A to Z. Because we don't like theoretical things. We like reality. Okay? Yours.
Thank you. All right, so SmileFi. SmileFi is a smile design software powered by artificial intelligence that strengthens the diagnostic view, improves communication, and most of all, improves predictability. I'm not saying that it gives you 100% accuracy for the final result, because we have different materials. We are using different softwares from scanning to printing. But what you will see today is a software designed for dentists. So it's not for dental technicians. It's a software that it's simple to use, it's fast, and most importantly, it's accurate. So I will start with, I think I went fast.
Yeah, it's the right one, exactly.
Okay. So it uses a unique technology, which is the 3D Smile frame. We're all very used with the 2D Smile design softwares that uses the Smile frame. But when it comes to the 3D planning, we have to be accurate. And the Smile design, it's a pre-planning. The 3D Smile design, it's our initial planning. So when you are presenting to the patient the initial plan, you start here. The Smile simulation, it's amazing. It's for patients, it's to improve communication, it's to give the patient an idea of the treatment plan. But in reality, it's not the treatment plan itself. So,
Carmina, if you allow me as well, the very important thing here, again, for the simplicity of it, is you can see, you can use it on your iPad or your iPhone. Again, it's simple. So a lot of time I do designs while I'm in a dinner. When I'm bored in a dinner, at a dinner I start doing some designs on my phone.
yeah. So it's used for, it's an Apple-based software, and it was developed by Ralph George. And the idea behind is that dentists should use it in their daily workflow. Okay. So what are the features? You can start with a 2D Smile simulation that is easy. You shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. If you spend more than 5 minutes on a Smile simulation, you are losing your time. And the idea behind is that 2D Smile simulation, it's not accurate. And we have studies. We have the UPenn University. We have a collaboration with them, and basically we showed that 2D Smile simulation, that outline, it's taken from one person, and we are copying and paste the same outline for the other patients. And you have to understand that patients are unique. Facial features are unique. So when you are designing a Smile simulation, you are actually not integrating any facial analysis here. Motivational mockup. This is where the game starts. So with the motivational mockup, we have two options. Either we print the model, or we print the shells. And shells are faster. With shells, you can do guides. And with shells, you can also do a motivational mockup, or you can you can do a motivational mockup, and from here, then you can start the treatment planning, creating the ideal design. Now, we have simple additive cases, or we have motivational mockup using shells. We also use SmileFi to do composite veneers. You can export two models. One is a full design, the other is with every other tooth, so you can do the injectable technique. It's also, you'll see that we have a case with crown lengthening design, and it's easy, but at the same time, you need the dentist here. Now, I am a dental technician, and I know this. But when it comes to crown lengthening, I need a dentist. Why? Because I don't have all the capability, I don't have basically a reference when it comes to CBCT integration for radiological, to see if I need, for example, to see the biological width, how much can I lengthen that tooth? So this is where you can absolutely treatment plan your cases. And last but not least, we have the full arch implant bridge design. So I say that it's an AI-based software, and what you will see is also diagnostics with the CBCT. This is just a step-by-step of the smile simulation. Doesn't play. How do I play this?
Okay. You want to go for the case?
Doesn't
it's
work.
okay.
Oh,
No, it's working.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
I have to wait, right?
Yeah. Now you have to go for Joanna case, I think. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, good. So as you can see, you can use it on your iPhone, you can use it on the iPad, and you can use it on the Mac. If you ask me, I find that the iPad is the best device to be used in a clinic because it's portable, first of all. You can use it chair-side with the patient to show rather than the phone, which is slightly smaller. Yes, absolutely, you can design a smile simulation on the iPhone, but I find that the iPad has a bigger screen and it's more professional. So the SmileFi workflow, I will show you a step-by-step from 2D to 3D smile design. And for 2D, it's going to take me not more than 5 minutes because I don't want to spend more than that. 3D smile design, it's where it gets interesting. 2D, it's pre-planning. 3D design, it's the initial treatment plan. Okay, and I will start with Joanna's case.
Yeah, so Joanna came, as you can see, she's unhappy. They did some lower composite veneers with discoloration, and she wants to do, she wants to re-engineer her smile. So what we did with Joanna, again, we just took one photo. One photo. No need for more. You can take 300 photos, but we need one photo. So from one photo, and we took upper and lower scanning, with any scan you have, you just put an STL file, and she will do the design, and you'll see the case.
Okay, so just to show you how simple the SmileFi app is, we have the menu on the top left corner, and then here we have the menu. New patient, it's where you start. We have step number 1, patient digitalization. If you already have the files and there is no need to show the patient or to motivate the patient, then you can go straight to 3D smile design and initiate your treatment planning. I'm not saying that this is, I would say this 2D smile design, it's mandatory. You can absolutely, if you don't want to use it, then go to 3D smile design. But for today, we are going to start with the 2D smile simulation so I can show you the process. So we go to step number 2, smile design. And as Professor Ziad said, we only need one picture. The most important picture from all of them is the full smile, frontal picture. That's all you need. Big smile. Make sure that you have enough space to create your design. It means that the upper and lower jaw should be slightly apart. And when you select here the plus, you will see that you have different options. Now, if you use a DSLR, that's fine. You can use Dropbox, Google Drive. But what we just said, today, make it simple, make it applicable. So we're going to use the iPad, if you want, or we are going to use our iPhone and just import basically from the gallery. Now, I will use the computer since I have here the Mac, and I'm gonna take the picture, upload it, make sure it's a JPEG format, and we start our smile simulation. So all you need is the 2D smile frame, position it on top of the existing teeth. Make sure you have the midline here. If you need to increase the length, then you can, of course, bring it down. You can increase the height, and you can also change the smile curve. So I will change the ratio here. Remember, it's motivational. We can use different templates, okay, to show to our patient. The main reason here is to show the patient what can be done. It's a simulation. It's not even a prototype. It's a simulation to show the patient what can be achieved. Now, the app gives us 4 options. Why? If you are doing it chairside with the patient, remember, my philosophy of beauty might be different than our patient. We have always to think about, it's not only about facially driven, but it's also emotional driven. This smile design, okay, can be, you know, for me it looks beautiful, I can select this one, but what if the patient decides to go with this one? Okay, I cannot tell, I have to ask the patient. That's why it's so important to ask dental-related questions. What are your pain points? What would you like to achieve? And you take two, I would say, references here. One, it's the shade color, what they like, if it's more natural or Hollywood smile. And second, the shape, okay, what they don't like. We go to select here. This is what I'm going to select today. And that's it, we have our smile simulation. If you want to adjust it here, we have some colors as a reference. You can decide, you know, if you want a more natural smile, you can increase the warmth, do some small adjustments, okay? Brightness here, and that's it. This is our smile simulation. You can share it with the patient. You can, you know, give it via email. You have this preview, the side-by-side picture that you can share with them, and use this for our treatment plan. So we used, remember we used, if I go back one time, I want to show you the templates. In Smile Harmony, we have the template, J01. We use the Jan Haito templates. And it's interesting because this template, I know the outline is taken from one person, but in 3D design, we can actually use the same shape, okay? But we are going to customize it according to the patient arch. So I will save the case from here. That's all you need to do. Make sure you add the patient's name. You don't need to have any other, I would say, information, this stage. And that's it. We save it. So the communication between the patient and you, it's here. This is where you start. From here, you can do the treatment plan, start the treatment plan. Now, we are using only one picture, right? For the 3D design, we're using the same picture actually, no more. If you want to use the video interview, wonderful. I would suggest you to use it. Apart from that, you just need the intraoral scan. So we go back to case management. And this is our main 3D smile design protocol.
So if you allow me, Carmina,
yeah, sure.
The very nice thing is from this, I can send immediately the before and after the patient. So again, from a mobile to a mobile. And this motivational link is amazing. We tested. Means you don't have, because then when the patient has it on the phone, she or he, so they can night, evening, morning show the husband, the friend, the cousin, anywhere. You know, so it's very important the way it's linked. And the nice thing, again, now I'm speaking from a dentist standpoint. So I have this platform in which you have everything. You have the 2D, the files, and you can move from a file and file. You can decide only to do 2D or do 3D directly, or you can decide to do what you see suitable, and you notice that this can be done within 5 minutes time or less. Okay.
Yeah, so we are no longer using Keynote. We are no longer focusing here on the smile simulation. We are using this as a pre-planning for our treatment plan, to initiate the treatment plan. And this is where we start. We have the new project on top. Under the timeline is the projects that we created so far. And on top here we have all the projects that we can do in the SmileFi app. That's it. So we start with our 3D Smile design. Now the app, if you haven't integrated basically the intraoral scan, all you have to do is go here in the patient files, open basically the patient files, and that's where you will add the intraoral scan. Now, you see we have other picture protocol that we can add, right? But again, they are not mandatory. To start the 3D Smile design, all we need is the intraoral scan and the picture. That's it. So I will upload the STL file, upper and lower. Again, I will use my computer, upper. Okay. Now here the app will ask you if you want to, let's say, since most of the time it's going to be a scan, right? And it's an open file. It means it's not ready to print. So what the app does, it will close the model for you before you even start the 3D Smile design. That way, the lab technician doesn't have to close the model. They have no problem basically with printing the model, and we get this a lot of time. They export the files and they don't know how to close the model.
Exactly. This is one of the very important trick. If you send it to a lab technician, they'll call you, oh, but the model we have to close. Now you send it closed. They just have to print. Technically, we send nothing. We do everything. But effectively, this also makes things easy, fast, always.
It takes about 30 seconds to analyze the model, and it also fixes the errors. If there are some errors or some open, I would say, open file, and you need to basically to optimize it, the app will do it for you. You don't have to do anything. It takes about 30 seconds to do this upper and lower. For today, I will use only the upper as a reference because you can start only with the upper if you don't want to include the lower. But of course, it's much better if we have upper and lower because then you have the occlusion and you can check as well. Okay. You need to have a good internet connection.
Yeah, this is internet connection. Now we're having a direct connection with the 5G, right? Okay.
Yes, let me add the lower as well so you can see the digital patient together. Okay. And we close the file as well. So we are going to do a mock-up design, but of course it can be more than that. You can go into more complex cases, and we're going to show different cases. This is a mock-up design, and I would say it's the most easiest one, and you will learn step by step how to do it.
And you see, with this platform, you can add whatever. A CBCT will be adding it later for making anything related to implant bridges and so, or perio analysis, perio guide for surgery. You have everything, but you see, just we need 2 scan and 1 full frame photo. So you remember how I started with the 18 photo protocol, 3/4, 3/2, jump from the sky and all that? I'm relaxed from this. You can, again, take a lot of photos for documentation, but for doing smile design, we technically don't need it anymore. Again, Zara protocol versus Chanel protocol, simplify, precise, repeatable. People think that I'm buying from Zara all the time. That's not true, okay? So I'm not doing any marketing for them.
So we start with the files calibration. This is our first step. And we need 3 points. 3 points on the picture, 3 points on the intraoral scan. That's all we need. So I will rotate the model. Doesn't have to be, as you can see, perfectly straight. Oh, I'm using the prep one. Oh, sorry about that.
There is the other file, yes.
So sorry. Delete.
It's my mistake. I put 4 files together. Because we did, yeah.
I think we don't have it here. That's fine. I will go back to my patients list since I have this file already, and I will start a new case, okay? Or I already have the files, I just need to create a new project, that's all. So I go to my patients list from here. You can go back, and we open
Joanna.
this one. Good.
And we'll be showing this case because we did this case. You will see before and after, okay? All the cases we're showing will show you the final outcome with the final restorations. With some surprises for the day. Because Dr. Hatim likes surprises, so we did some surprises for him.
Okay, the app also allows you to do a case presentation. It means if you don't have time to show the patient the 3D design, or you want to share it with the dental technician, the app will do it for you. It's a PDF that you can open. It has all the essential information, 2D small frame, the template that you used, and the before and after picture side by side. Similar to the 3D design, we have the step-by-step workflow of the 3D design. And yeah, it takes about 1 minute to create the case presentation. So you don't have to do it. The app will do it for you. We just need to, as you can see, we have all these files integrated, because if you need later, you want the provisional for the final. Basically, you need the prototype, right? You can add the post scan, right? The prep scan, and continue the design. And you don't have to redo it. You use the same design and adapt it to the post-op design, basically, to the prep scan. I know it takes time.
With the internet.
Do you have questions about this software, initial planning, doubts?
So the outcome for the 2D is simple. 3 to 5 minutes to have the 2D smile design communicated to the patient immediately. And again, you have to tell the patient that this is a 2D, and the 3D will be assessed differently, okay? But the good thing about this platform that the 3D is based on the 2D. You will not have something that is totally different or totally opposite. You know, in some softwares, the 2D is very nice on the screen and has nothing to do with the final 3D. And this is where you lose your patient, totally. No trust, you lose the emotional link, and things are over. So in this situation, I think the internet is very slow here.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know if it was, yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Doctor, for the software, you mentioned that you can use it for phone or iPad or Mac. It's one software for all devices?
All same.
Or
Yeah.
it's two different software?
No, same. Same.
Yeah.
Same account, go to your phone, to your iPad, to your iPhone, anything.
And for the model creation, let's say, you can add articulation also, or no?
Articulation,
Yeah, for the design. So you send that technique and print it.
of course.
So you can
Of course, of course. You can print shell. You will see, we will show you. We are printing mock-up to that extent. You know, mock-up cannot be printed if it's not very precise with 0.4 millimeter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's stuck.
start, so cancel. Go back to the, okay. .3D, yeah. So you have the case, right?
What?
The case is here.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's all here. I'm starting a new project so I can show you the steps, because I have the 3D design already made here, but it's the internet connection that. So, very important. The files are saved on an external cloud. It means it's not stored on your device, and you don't have to have, you know, a big memory. In case you delete the app, You don't have to, worry about losing the patient files, and you can download anytime from the server, from the Smilefy server. The files are encrypted. It means that you are the only one that has access to the files, because of course we are working with patients, and yeah, it's very important that you basically you have an internet connection so you can start working. I would say that this is where you just download the files, and then from here you don't need an internet connection because it's the software that does it for you, that goes through the process. But here it's not working. I have to find another
Probably,
way.
I think the connection is a problem.
Yeah.
Professor Ziad,
Yeah.
I will do another
you
thing.
mentioned at the beginning of the lecture
Yes.
in chapter 2.
Yeah. Wedding too.
Wedding
The second wedding. Yeah.
Second wedding 2. The promise of study and expectation. So I assume that if we are doing the same with Smilefy, we would have the same problem in terms of starting 2D. So if it is simple and reliable and easy, why I would not directly start 3D? So the promise and the expectations would be.
But I can, nowadays, what we do, we don't use the 2D. We go flying to the 3D directly.
So the point here is in not jumping between.
I can go directly to 3D. I don't have to go to 2D. Yeah, you can skip. The 2D is just done for motivational. But nowadays, the platform that she's showing, this is my platform. These patients are my patients that you're seeing. And these patients, we are not doing 2D for them anymore. I jump immediately to 3D.
Okay, so it is one visit for the patient to come to you. She need to come back for the...
One visit, communication, link, not on the dental chair, blah, 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 intraoral scanning, upper, lower, one photo, that's it. Patient comes back, and when she comes back, I have two things. Or I did the 3D for sure, I 3D printed the mock-up for her, or I 3D printed the 3D model on which I can do a silicon index that you do, all of you do, daily with PMMA and so and so. So these are the two directions.
So the second appointment, the patient come for the
For the mock-up, yes. The good thing with a 3D printed mock-up that we are using, that we'll be showing with some, let me say, adjustable technology that we adjusted, it's I can send the patient home for 3, 4 days, 5 days, because what we have learned, avoid giving a mirror. The mirror is the worst thing for a patient. Worst thing to give a mirror. Do I like it? Oh, it's nice. No, never. You forget the mirror, and if a mirror, you just take, I take photography and I show it on a screen, better send her to the friends, because I know in Beirut, 85% of women doing smile design, they are not doing for them, they are doing for the other people, okay? So the other people should judge. So technically, this is it. Carmina, you ready?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's working. It's downloading files now. I switched to the other Wi-Fi connection, the normal one, because it doesn't work, this one.
The Hilton, okay.
Yeah, so all the files are almost downloading.
Okay, so you have it here, great.
So remember the 2D outline, the templates that we use in 2D. This is the 3D outline that it's basically customized according to the patient arch. We use the 3D smile frame, which is unique. There is no other software out there that can really, you can plan according to the patient arch. If it's an ideal, if it's a motivational, you can start the initial planning, and when you generate the smile, you have 50, if not 70% of the work done.
This is
In
very
15
important.
minutes,
70% of the work done.
you have the proportion. Similar to the 2D smile frame, we adjust the height-width ratio, and then when we generate the smile, we have the templates with the right proportion for our patient. And then you can simply export the mock-up. Remember, the model is already closed. You can send it to the printer. We have direct connections with all the, I would say, most important printers. Yeah, and then you can print your mock-up in office same day. So,
Still loading.
almost there.
No, this is the presentation. The presentation, no. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I apologize for this small part.
You know, when we were setting up the thing yesterday, my only concern was internet connection. And we are working on a 5G internet connection that was provided by the organizer now. And see, very slow.
But we have, as you can see here, we have all the files. We have CBCT data. We have prep models. So of course, here we are uploading a lot of files, but remember what I said at the beginning, all you need is a picture and the intraoral scan to start. Okay, so this is what we are going to do.
You know, because with Joanna, it means this patient that you will be seeing now, we did everything. It means we stretched the game to the end to see how much, you know, we are researchers, so I like always to test it, to see where is the weak point, the strong point, where can we fail and where can we win. And you know, I have a critical thinking, so each time I'm starting by, there is a problem somewhere. So I was just searching for the problem. But effectively, this is why you see all these, it means she don't need all this. Joanna don't need all this. But we stretch it to the end by doing this to see what will be the outcome of what we are doing. And effectively, we'll be showing you several cases for several patients, for several clinical conditions that you are encountering each day, each moment, and each second. And this is how, again, we move into our workflow. The most important thing, again, you have to establish a fast, simple, affordable, repeatable process. Otherwise, it makes no sense. If things will take with you 2 weeks to do a smile design, it makes no sense. Totally no sense. I need to do a smile design 1 session, mock up 1 session, and finish the case in 1 session. This is a surprise. You will see it later. So the patient will come, it's like going to the mall, go to the shop, to Chanel, will buy, and leave. That's it. Okay?
All right, so going back here, all we need.
Remember, we went to the square where we start.
Yeah. So all we need is 3 points. Make sure you take the canines as a reference. You can also lock the screen just to have the model locked. Take 3 points always from left to right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We calibrate the files, and the AI will calibrate the files for us. You can change the color if you want at this stage and start the treatment plan. We go next, and in our next step, we have to set the occlusal curve. Why? Because every patient arch is unique. That's why we have to set this at the beginning. You can use the same, you can position basically the occlusal curve exactly where you have the teeth position, or you can make it ideal, right? So let's say you want to expand the buccal corridor, you want to extend the buccal corridor, then you need to put this curve a little bit more out. So what I'm going to do is just use the arrows to set like this. Okay. Once we have this, we can go next. Set the midline. Make sure you have, you can of course choose between the dental, facial midline. Here I'm going to take off this one. Remember the 2D small frame? Okay, similar to the 2D small frame, we have the 3D small frame. Give me just one moment. Need to adjust the position of the model. The position of the model is really important. Okay, make sure it's horizontal, just like you have it here. That's all you need. So we can have the same position here. Okay, so here's our 3D small frame, just to show you how it looks like. Okay, very similar to the 2D small frame. Now, we set the midline. If it's not set at the beginning, you can also adjust it here very precisely. We set the height, of course. Okay, so we want to expand here. We change the height, proportion, right? Height-width ratio. Take the centrals as a reference. That's all you need. Remember, it's a frontal picture. If you set the height-width ratio for the centrals, the laterals, canines, and so on will have the right proportion. The midline here should be a little bit more here to the middle. Okay, we have the proportion. Last but not least, the speed curve, okay, that we adjust with the occlusal angle, and this is our setup. If you understand this initial setup, trust me, 70% of the work is done. We go to adjustments, we choose the number of units, how many units we want to design. So let's take from first smaller. Set. You can also change the numbering system here if you're more familiar with this one. And as you can see, remember the proportion at the beginning? Look. Of course, you can do some small adjustments if you want, okay? Because looking from the frontal perspective, you have the centrals, laterals, and canines, but maybe sometimes you don't have space right here for the premolar. So you have the option here to change it before you generate a smile. And voila. This is where magic starts. Yes?
How about the facial registration? How are you going to translate that into the system?
The Facebook? You mean this is why, if you see when she started, there is the references of the eyes and the glabella and the inside as well, and the speed curve.
It's all here.
It's all here, and it's calculated. So technically, you don't have the problem what was you're thinking of. It's very, you'll see, let me show you after that. You know, the counted game, we don't have it a lot of getting, this is why you don't want accounting, right?
Okay, so this is our situation. When we go next, I will have to take off these layers because we integrated the layers, upper and lower, maxilla. Okay, and this is a guided workflow. Now, if you, next to the menu, if you click on 3D design, this is a default mode. But then if you want to start a mockup design, you will just click here on mockup and the app will guide you. It means that the first step is to choose the template. It's very important to select the template. If you did the smile simulation, then you will use the same template, which was, if you remember, J01. And if you don't have a template yet and you want to, experiment and see all the other templates, just go here, select. You can also create a mix of different templates. We use the Jan Haito templates. These are natural shapes, the texture is natural, and the design, of course, it will look great at the end.
And we can add library as well.
Yeah.
So if you have a specific library, we can add it in the library.
Okay. So I like to work with the 4 views. As you can see here on the bottom, we have 4 views because we always take, remember, We always take the picture as a reference when we are designing. And here, if you don't want the lower, you can just have the upper. You can have the lip simulated. You can take off the smile frame, okay? So you can have a look at the design. Now,
Excuse me.
Yes.
The lip, you have to define the lip margin?
No,
itself,
it's
or
already detected.
automatically
Yeah.
with artificial intelligence?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's already detected. So if I go to mark lip here, you can see that it's already marked by the AI. I can do some small adjustments, okay, if I want to, but I just need to simulate here and I will have the simulation. Now, the next step would be tools. So in tools, basically, you are doing small adjustments. And I actually didn't do a great job here, but even if you don't do a great job, you'll see that the design, I will do it in 2 minutes. So I go here to size. I want to increase the length here, okay? I want to position them a little bit more down because that was our initial pre-planning. I'm gonna bring this slightly more in. Canine on this side, it's out. So even if you are at the beginning and you don't know really how to use the software, because you need, just like any other software, there is a learning curve. But here the learning curve, it's really small. If you're used to, using somehow the 2D small simulation, then you have no problem to use the 3D. Because you have the same reference. You have the picture as a reference, okay? And here, as you can see, we can also do some small adjustments when it comes to rotation. Now, I have 4 views, right? I have the 12 o'clock view, which is very important. Okay. If you're using the iPad, you have the screen touch, right? So you can really use the pen, and I would say that it's even better than this. But for now, okay, this is our occlusal, okay? And this is our free view. So you can check, you can go right and left, and again, always take the picture as a reference. Where is tools? I'm going to simulate. Okay, so we can have this. Small adjustments. You can also link them. It means link the central incisors or laterals, so you're actually not spending too much time on redesigning the other side because you are doing it together. You can rotate here. You can do some really, good adjustments, personalized before you finalize it. Okay, that's it. Next, I go to Mesh Editor, okay? I can also use Smile Analysis. Smile Analysis is a really interesting feature. It gives me the facial flow of the patient. It gives me... Yeah, this is all done by AI. I don't have to do anything here. So all I'm doing basically, I have my design, okay, that I'm integrating with the face. I have the midline. If you don't have the midline or you need to change it, you just need to follow the app. You can also set a measurement, okay? Let's say you want to measure how much we are increasing the central incisors here.
How about the lateral view? Will it show a lateral?
Yeah? You want to see how much we're increasing? Just select here, 0.9. Okay? So you can do this. It's very easy. Just measure. Last but not least, Mesh Editor before we export. So Mesh Editor, it's like a free wax app where you can customize the template to the patient, I would say, teeth. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the maxilla and the maxilla design. Of course, we have other options. You can also have the upper and lower in occlusion, so you can check the function. And I play with this a lot because you can also change the shape. It means that if I want these laterals to be more flat here on the surface, go like this, and I do this, okay? Now remember, it's a mock-up design. It means that in 1 minute, I can can go over. I can make it very motivational mock-up, but I like to keep as much as possible, create an ideal design, okay? So if I have to just increase here, you can see how much I'm increasing actually, not much, 0.1, 0.2, okay, I'm adding. So it's not like I'm adding a lot of material, and that's why I like to keep the teeth position in an ideal situation, okay, as much as possible. I don't like to create bulky designs and, have the teeth in the wrong place, basically, because remember, this is our prototype, okay? Always delete what is not needed. For a mock-up design, most of the time we don't need the palatal area. That's why we have the option to delete. If you're doing it for composite, this is not in the, that's fine. We apply the changes and we export. So the mesh editor is to fine-tune your design, to do the last adjustment before you export it. That's all you need. I go to CAD presets. Remember our next step right here. You see I changed the shape of the lateral. One is different than the other. Then I go to CAD presets. I go to mockup, maxilla, and that's it. The app will give me the option to export it from here. I can export it, if I'm using the Mac, I will export it to downloads to desktop. If I'm using the iPad, I can zip the file and send it via email, or I can export it to Dropbox as well. So I select export, desktop, save, and that's it. If you want to have a look or how it looks like in 3D layers, we have our mock-up design. Oh, I don't know why it's not closed. That's fine. If it's not closed, you can go to advanced digital edit. We can also cut the base. If you don't want to print a lot of material, this is just an extra step if you want to do it.
Yes, to cut the time of printing, which is very important. But now, one thing, because now I have to tell you about from the dentist perspective about doing the 3D. You know, she's a super expert in this. She can do this in 3 seconds. But there is a learning curve. The good thing with this is this learning curve is straight. It means you don't have a lot, and it takes you in a very logical way. Logical is very important, and you have all options. It means you need to play with it a little bit. Then now we do it very, very fast and effectively. Why I'm so excited about this? Because we were searching a lot for something that is easy and precise for us. I'm talking about dentists, especially when we're doing something chairside. So this is what took me, and we are into development. It means the good thing, we are giving them our point of view, they are adjusting, and this is how we'll see later. It means how things are applied clinically.
Yeah, and you have 2 options to close the model, make it ready to print. One is the mesh wall, which creates the minimal thickness. It means it's not a full model. You are basically not printing a lot of material. You will print only I would say the surface with the minimal thickness. The other way would be to close the mesh, okay? And we can use the motivational, and that will create a full model, okay? Now, I personally don't like it because it prints more material, and if you have to, really print less material, then you can also use the shells. The shells is our, I would say, first option. Second option would be to print the model if needed. Sometimes we just need the model so you can create a silicone key and test drive it in the patient's mouth. And the third option is, of course, now here I'm doing an extra step because I'm closing the model. But it is because at the beginning when I uploaded the files, and this is basically the project that I created previously, I didn't close the model at the beginning. So you have two options, close the model or just keep it open. That's all. Now, I will show you the end result. Do you want to continue from here to show?
I can close with Joanna, okay.
Yeah.
So effectively, this is Joanna after the mock-up, okay? And this is what we're doing, you know, we do some guided, as you all do, guided preparation, through the mock-up and so, and we just use the marker for the, for the video, so you can see exactly how things are moving. And this is the prepared, this is not the final, this is after preparation, Joanna after preparation. Can you go, okay? This is a try-in, go. And this is Joanna. So, Joanna, this is exactly the replication of what we had as 3D smile design. So this is the final case.
Initial? No, I just wanted to show the 3D design.
Okay, can you show the 3D? This is a 3D design, yes.
And the final.
And this is, here we were playing with Joanna about some hair, we're changing her hair. But we noticed one thing, if you see, let's stop it here. If you see when she was smiling here, she had some instability and, when she smiled, she had different smile. And this is a question for us. So if let's say you need a full frame smile, so she can smile. She can have one stretch or one more stretch smile. But there is no problem because technically we move on the lower lip. It means we have a lower lip plus the other references. So, and you can see that effectively the precision of getting, and we have calculated with a deviation that is less than 60 microns. And this is how we are moving to our next big project that will not show here, we'll show into another time. A patient coming, one session, and the second session, the patient will come and he will have preparation. Yeah, later, go ahead. So Joanna. So Joanna, we have the link, emotional link, then we did the 3D for her, preparation, and the good thing, you need a dental technician on the other side. Yeah. So, yeah.
So you sent her the pictures after you designed the smile, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she absolutely changed her mind, or is something like you don't temporize?
This is why, exactly. This is what I don't know if you were here, what I was saying, because the mock-up done printing the shell, and we are using a special resin ceramic for the 3D printing. And probably we are among the first to do those things. Dr. Hatem knows this because he's part of all the projects. So we are printing these shells and we can play shells, but it's very tricky because, again, this is a trick. Never print a light color mock-up. Always use a darker one because you'll see it later. If it's lighter and her teeth, let's say her teeth are A2 and you print a mock-up of A1, when she smiles, her mind will read discrepancy immediately. She have, like, oh, no, I don't want this. So if it's darker, it blends, okay? Plus we print 0.4, 0.3. We're tracking. We are trying with the company to stretch them to 0.3 millimeter, technically. So yes, so now you get it. Very good point. Again, imagine now all our patients are leaving at office, and all the time I'm having my WhatsApp. She sending me photo from the restaurant, photo from the beach with the mock-up. So a full emotional integration, full link. Now the weak link in all this is the lab, if you're doing. And what we are trying to do to finish everything chairside. We are trying to do things chairside. You'll see later. Okay, so don't leave because the show will start now. Trust me. And we have a huge surprise for the ladies. Huge one. Unexpected, trust me. Not dental. Okay.
Okay, now, I think the beauty is if you are doing a 3D design,
Yes.
it's not only for the guiding for the patients as for motivation or for her to approve it, but you need to transfer this directly to the reality because it's 3D.
Exactly.
And the reality is 3D.
Exactly.
You have done the mock-up and you have printed the shell
Yes.
and you cemented the shell in a
Yeah.
new way.
Spot.
And the patients now, this is before preparation.
Yeah, we do that.
And the patients now is trying the shell with her friends in order to be sure that this is what she wants. What about the preparations? Does the shell would guide you for the preparation? Would act as a guide for
Exactly.
preparation later on?
When the patient will come back, accepting, totally linked to you, I start prepping immediately.
Okay. And when the patient is going to leave after preparations, would leave with what?
Usually I double print.
Okay. So here you print
Yeah.
it twice.
Yeah, I can triple print. I print a lot. You know, now effectively my passion for, especially like Dr. Hatem was totally involved with us and Carmina, my new toy is 3D printer. I have one at home, 3 at the clinic, in the car, amazing. When you understand this toy, you cannot live without in dentistry.
And the shell will give you also a guidance for the gingivoplasty.
We have one, yes. We'll show the case.
Let me explain this because I know that.
Yes, yes, of course.
Prof. Hisham is
Go
very
ahead, Dr.
technical
Hatem,
and
of course.
He needs
Yeah.
he needs the
Yes, yes,
science
yes,
behind it.
yes, yes.
So basically, you have the original 3D model and you have the mock-up 3D model. Basically, if you do a subtraction, so the difference is the shell or the actual veneers, or I can say so. So you can print it in different materials. You can print it in different shades. You can print it from as a permanent, or you can print it as a temporary, and you play with it. So you can have a shell made out of a temporary material, and this is what you give to the patient as a mock-up, or after the preparation you can just cement it, or you can have the later on. This is what we're working on. Is the permanent restoration that will be cemented eventually.
Yeah.
So this is the whole idea.
What wanna show that again, fast, simple, very important, affordable. You don't need to pay a lot for this, you know, repeatable. You can do it today, tomorrow, you have the same result. And finish it, time. The most important point in dentistry is time. No more, no less. Zirconia is not expensive. Intraoral scanner not expensive. Time, our time is the most expensive. Do not forget it's limited. So this is why it's the most expensive. Yes?
You said that it is 2 appointments, and the second one you are preparing and cementing.
No, I'm speaking about a project that we are developing. If this will work now, me and Dr. Hatem and Carmina and of course the Dean will be now in Seychelles, you know, on the beach, you know, and having a lot of money, right? So trust me for that. So I think, yes.
Can you check the occlusion, the system?
The
Can you check any interferences?
You can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You can, and I'm showing you in the second part of the presentation something more advanced. 4D, not 3D. Okay? I told you, I'm stretching to the end because we have a lot of tools, we are not using it. Lot of tools, more than you think. Okay? So we can have a coffee break for 15 minutes, but come back, ladies, huge surprise. Trust me, I have nothing to do with dentistry. Technically, I'm not a dentist. Test, 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 test. Yeah. It's fine, yes. What is the shade of your teeth? Do you know? You don't know? A1, B1? A1, right? A1. Okay. What is the shade of your teeth? Smile. Veneers mean, yeah, it's a nice gray. It's nice. It's probably BL4, something like this. It's natural. BL4, B1. So they're natural. You know, BL1 is a gray. Yeah. So ask your patient, do you want white or gray teeth? So when they say gray, you go for BL1. So trust me, in Beirut, all of them, but on BL1. All. هون كمان. Whitehead. So again, thank you very much. The light me in the night. Yes. So again, thank you for being here for the second and last part of our workshop. Again, thank you, Carmina. Thank you, all of you. We are just sharing today a little bit of what we are doing. It means we are trying to do things in a very simple way, most important again. So with Joanna, we'll move now to some clinical cases, adding to that some challenges in which we can go for digital dentistry. Okay, so this is Joanna. This is another case, effectively same thing. What I like again about this platform, on the same platform you can have everything. Effectively what I need in this software is just to have this photo and 2 scanners, no more, no less. So again, we did it fast because now we know it, you know, this 2D just to attract the patient, then digitizing the patient, moving into what we call a digital patient. And this is what Carmina have shown previously, you know, having all type of form, shape of the teeth, accordingly moving into a 3D design and going from the initial situation to the mock-up and starting to adjusting. This is just to show how things can be done very fast. Now this is Lara's case. Lara is unhappy, you can tell. Gummy smile, lot of dental work that were done. 2 dentists told her that she need minimum maxillofacial surgery. She need to adjust her nose. You know, all these big things that are non-simple. I'm sure the dean immediately showed the problem and how he can solve it. It's, you know, their job.
I'm surprised if you're going to correct this with
Great. Effectively, it's on process, but I'll show you what we are doing in a very, let me say, logic way, scientific logic way. So what we did for her, effectively, if you want to see, you know, more closely, and you see all interior crowns, all the problems there, and we'll see another feature of the SmileFi software here, a diagnostic feature that is very important as well. And I give the word
with me.
To you.
Thank you.
So, before I'll take over for the continuous clinical game.
Okay, so similar as you saw at the beginning, we did a 3D smile design. Now the difference here is that it's an additive case, and we are using the shells. So we are not printing the model here, but we are using the shells as a guide for our crown lengthening design. So let me show you the initial, okay? So we start again with the occlusal curve, nothing new. Then we move next. We have the CBCT integrated. Why? Because here we have to plan, okay? We need to see the bone. We need to see more reference. It's not just a simple mock-up design. So in cases like this, you can add more information to the software, okay? And the 3D smile frame, again, helps you with the proportion. You have it all here, okay? So I have the height, the width ratio. I'm planning according to the CBCT as well. And in our next step, we have the generated smile. You can change again the template. You can choose the guided design here. You can use start with the templates first, again go through the tools, smile analysis, and plan according to the CBCT. Now, this is what you can do. You can create a smile analysis, okay? Now, in simple cases, gingivectomy cases, you can use the shell mock-up, okay, and use it as a guide. You will see the before and after picture. And it's really great. But in cases where you need bone removal, then, of course, you need more information. That's why we have the cross-section option. It means here that you can cut through the tooth here. This is a new feature of the SmileFi app, and it allows you basically to go through every single tooth and to plan accordingly, to see the length, to see the biological width, to see if this design, okay, it's doable or not, okay? So going next, again, this is our CBCT, this is our 3D design, and here we have also the AI diagnostics. Now, if you upload the CBCT data, you can get a 5-minute report. It's done by AI, and you can get the radiological report automatically. Okay, you can see for each tooth what's the situation, and it's done by AI. It's amazing. It's really fast. You can check basically, in this case, if one tooth, for example, needs root canal. It's really very effective as a treatment option. And then here, make sure, again, we have the facial flow, smile analysis, everything is integrated. This is our shell.
So let me ask you, Carmina,
Yeah?
on behalf of everyone. So in this situation in which we have, we need to do a crown lengthening, and of course, in this situation with the crown lengthening, we need to adjust the bone accordingly for sure. So you calculated, everything can be calculated accordingly to the bone level, to the CBCT,
Yes.
to the level of all the parameters and references of the patients.
Exactly.
So effectively, the planning is a precise planning on the guide accordingly to very precise dimension. So I know that I have to remove 1 or 2 millimeters from the bone, or so, or so, or so.
Yeah.
So according to that, you move in your shell. So the shell in this situation will be the gum guide, right?
Yes.
The gum guide.
The shell will be needed only if we have any procedure for the bone?
No, this shell is a 3D printed smile design shell. Her smile is, this is the design according to the reference in which we can do or we cannot do. It means if, like Mr. Dean will tell me that in this situation I cannot raise the bone to this level, I will not go and do something that is ideal, but technically it's non-doable in reality.
What is the difference from the mock-up?
It's
Here?
the same.
Same.
Yeah, exactly. This is the beauty of the game. It's the same, but in this situation, we're going in depth, we're going on the gum level, we're going to do all this level. Yes, Dr. Hatim?
Cases, this one?
Excuse-
For every cases you make the shell or still specific?
No, now we're doing for everybody.
That shell for every.
The problem with the shell is not here. The problem, if I take the shell, I send it to the lab here. He said, what is, first question, what is this? Second question, this is a shell. We cannot print. They will start with, and if they print their way, okay, they'll bring you a very nice box with everything is fractured inside. You see, this is a trick. So we solve the printing trick of it because this makes things very easy. Imagine you're printing this instead of printing models and doing on the models. Yes, Dr. Hatim, you were on.
To Prof. Ziad and also Caroline, I mean, can we, instead of the shells, can we print a surgical guide
Yes.
for the crown lengthening?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know about this.
No, yeah. We can print one for the crown lengthening for the gum, and we can print one for the bone adjustment as well.
Usually the guide is...
With windows.
is something
With windows. I will show you that. Yeah. But what I want to show that we are in the same procedure. Nothing changed. You know, we are doing same. If there is a gum, CBCT with the references, no gum going just for veneers, or we go. So we love things to be, this is what I like about it technically, personally, is simple. You're moving in same step, same direction all the time. I don't have to go major things, you know? So, okay, so, yeah, you have to, on the other one. Okay, so this is, okay, thank you. So effectively, this is the design of the shell. As you can see, I don't know if you guys who work with Shitobox or any of these software for 3D printing effectively, and you can see that this is the shell beautifully done, and then it will be imported technically to the 3D printer for printing. So at the end, again, this is just a guide that can be used again for the aesthetic, because don't forget, the patient is not coming to do crown lengthening. The patient is coming to have new beautiful teeth in her subconscious. That's it. You know, do you know any patient that love to go to do implant? No, patient will go to have a crown, not to do an implant. And this is what I always discuss with my friends, implantologists and surgeons. Do not move. Now, our new policy, all cases need implants, they start with us. Daily, I give the surgeon 5 templates, 6 templates. I told them, don't think. I have my software, they think very nicely. Of course, they are the master of how to place it, everything, of course. But because at the end, I need this crown. It means a lot of time, some surgeon, I'm not talking about all the surgeons for sure, especially surgeons that don't have the guided mind, they will give you beautiful implants placed in 3 kilograms of bone. It's well integrated, yes, but how can I place the crown? You know, with an angulation of 95 degrees, things should be logic. So with this case, again, you can see that after printing, and you know, we hold, and with a composite polishing, where we're just adjusting, there is a support. We have to remove the support. And this is the shell, beautiful, amazingly there. Imagine you're doing this with the direct key. You cannot do it like this, it's impossible. And this thickness is 0.4 millimeter. Again, we're stretching the company to have it at 0.3 or 0.2. Again, I'm asking too much, I know it will not happen, but please, we need a 0.2 millimeter. Because the problem is not the 0.2, the problem is which material to use. Which material have the strength to be at 0.2? What is this material? Nobody asked. This material is a hybrid material, is a resin ceramic material. like lava. It's not lava. Like exactly. It's as. Thank you. Is as lava ultimate. It's not lava ultimate. So we're printing resin composite. We are printing hybrid ceramic. Imagine hybrid ceramic. We are printing, and you missed another question. Time of printing. We will see it in next case. Technically, usually, conventionally, this shell, if you move to any printer you know, any printer you have, and I can challenge them, you need a minimum of 1 hour 30 to 1 hour 45 minutes. This was printed in 15 minutes. 15, 1, 5. How we did it? Again, our team, we just did a reverse engineering on the printer, and because in my team I have mechanical engineer, don't think I'm so genius. I'm good in connecting people like Nokia, no more, no less. Okay, so what we did, the genius guy we have in the team did a reverse engineering on the printer, and we'll see it, he will see everything. And we changed the printing time. And there is one company, I will not say which company, that challenged me, a German company, that I cannot do it. And we did it. And we tested the product with Dr. Hatem. And the product, there is zero change in mechanical properties. So imagine, patient is here, 15 minutes printing this, placing it. 5 minutes, okay, to do a class 2 composite, right? We did all this in 15 minutes. So, and this is for Professor Hisham. How things don't appear, this is the trick. So the trick, if you see the placement, this is the same patient. We used a black pencil. And on the black pencil, because when we printed, we have at the inner side of the incisor, like a small, like a mark in which we have to stop on it. According to that, we just use a black pencil, and when she smiles, you don't see, you see the teeth were here. But you don't see this anymore. So effectively, this is where the gum will be cut. And this is the amount of reduction on the teeth that will be happening. Very simple.
You mean the key is shorter than the
Oh.
normal?
No, don't forget, if you go back, why didn't I have to put can you
go
just
back.
put the photo of her, the first photo, so she can
Yep.
see? You got it? This is the 3D printed shell. Not the first one. First one. The
Here.
initial. No, the initial is a clinical one.
The initial picture?
Yeah, clinical one. Yeah. Okay. The other one. Next one. So if you see, I'm reducing the gum. So my 3D printed shell is lying here and stopping here. So this amount of 2 millimeter of incisal edge will be shaved. We use this nice trick of using this black pencil, because without it, first, if the patient will look, what? Secondly, you are confused. So by using this, you master the game. Okay? Thank you. So now the perio surgeon knows exactly where to cut the gum. This case is under process. Effectively, to be honest with you, our guys, the team in Beirut just sent me yesterday night these, because they brought the patient, because we found it as one of the top patients. And see. You see? Now you can see that the surgeon can do this, prosthodontist can adjust, and we can use this shell, the second printed shell, as a temporary if you're doing veneers. So, and now I'm showing the patient on a screen, not on a mirror, on a screen. I didn't do anything. Did I do anything? I did not touch the patient. I just put this, my beautiful black pencil, and the patient, when she's looking at the screen, oh, yes. So the emotional link in 3D smile design was totally assured by this. So after that, for doing, Dr. Hatem, for doing bone adjustment, you need to use this type, you know? So if the gum is here, you cut and you adjust the bone accordingly.
How did you generate this?
The guide
Guide?
from the design as well.
So it's
Same,
automatically.
automatically. Yeah, we can adjust anything and we 3D print it. Exactly. Because Professor Hisham, what we have all the references, you know? We don't have to do something more. We generate this, we generate the others, we generate whatever we want. Again, the most important thing with this SMILE software is a precise one, deviation less than 60 micron. This is the name of the game.
And then you cement the shell,
Exactly.
temporary.
Temporary. And guess what? I have 10 shells. I can print shells and shells and shells.
In the same day of the surgery.
Of course.
What
We-
do you use to cement the temporary?
I do spotting, you know, spot edge, spot. I use because this product gives you a very good adhesion. Very good adhesion. And it's strong. It means strong that it stands much more than the conventional PMMA used when we do some mock-up using, you know, the silicon index. No, not Vitadynamic. No, Vitadynamic is over. Technically, no. Vitadynamic has nothing to do with 3D printing. Vitadynamic, they have blocks for milling. So if you want to do this with Vitadynamic, first you cannot do it because I don't have a big block. Secondly, it will take half a day. Third, I will not have the same precision. Fourth, it will cost you 15 more times than this. How much cost the printing of such shell? Do you know?
It's just
Yeah.
less than $10 or $10 something.
Less. It costs $5 to $6 less. $6 printing this. If you send it to the lab, he will charge you 1,000 dirham. So each time I'm looking at the price list in UAE about the 3D printing thing, I start laughing. It means when I see, you know, ooh, guide, 1,500 dirham. Really, you know. So again, think chairside. Think how we can do it. You can do it. I'm not a magic guy, you know. She's more magic than me, you know, but I follow protocols. That's it.
Fitting the shell, if it is an additive procedure, it's okay. But if one or two teeth need subtract and the rest is okay, then
Yeah.
it's an additive.
I don't know if you were here, good question. When I was telling them, always use shade that is darker. Use a shade that is darker. So mainly if you have, because even if there is some subtractive or additive, it can go in. So if you are using light shade, aesthetically it will show a lot. Otherwise it can blend. You understand what you want? It's doable. Try it. You will love it. So this case is under progress, and now the game will start. Let me introduce you Sherbil. Sherbil is the dentist that you hate to have in your life. He hates dentists. He has a fear of dentists. Each time he want to come, he tells us that we have 15 minutes to do all the treatment. Effectively, you can see. He's not much concerned about aesthetics. He's a traveler, and he has a very high position in the company, which is against what you're saying. And he's all the time asking, this will cost a lot, will cost, you know, I need something affordable, you know, and he has a nice Porsche. But Anyway, these are the patients all of us we are facing daily. So we decided to do, we called it the Saturday night fever. And on a Saturday, I called Carmina and I told her, Saturday, we have to do everything for this patient within 2 to 3 hours. You will say, 3 hours? Oh, what you're doing? This patient needs 4 posterior upper implants, need crowns, need extraction, the endo. Whatever you want to see in a curriculum, you will find it there. The question that we asked ourselves, can we do it? It means here we don't have only the technical part, we have the psychological part. So we're dealing with both. How to control the psychological part? Telling him that you're going to a mall for 3 hours shopping. You go in, you go out, everything is done. And that was the challenge. He says, that is my condition. I'll go on the chair if in 3 hours I leave the chairs and everything is done. So we said, let's try, right? So this is the initial situation. And you can have a look. I will not go through all the details of the guided surgery and so, because this is not, you see things to be extracted, endo. Concentrate on the upper, forget the lower now. So the patient came, and you know, this book, if somebody read it, you know, The Tale of Two Cities, it's, you know, that was within the Second World War, and the whole game, what decision, what should we do, what is affordable, how can we stretch science and technology for cases. The problem in dentistry is you don't have the same patient with same cases replicable all the time. For each situation, you have to develop something new. So again, going into the smile design, same. Adding to that, there is a CBCT, intraoral scanner. How many photos are you seeing here? 1. Do you need 16 view lateral, 1/4 from the, no, just 1. 1 single photo. So this is a 2D simulation. Effectively, we do it just because for fun. We don't need it because I moved immediately to 3D with him. So again, powered with artificial intelligence, of course. Then this patient went into digitization, meaning the 3D smile design accordingly. And I think this is a video, very fast one. Yeah, just
It's
exactly.
showing exactly the steps.
These are the steps.
Changes. So we are, again, not showing you something different here when it comes to the workflow. It's the same workflow. That's why if you have to learn SmileFi, you need to learn the steps. That's it. Now, for each case, of course, you'll have to plan if you need, for example, to go more vestibular, or you need to keep the same tooth structure. And in this case, again, we used, as you can see, we planned the whole teeth. We also have the option to have the artificial gum in the SmileFi app. So again, this was done in 30 minutes because it's a more complex case, but that's how much it took me. From the moment I imported the files to the moment I exported the files.
And that was immediately, you know, placed and stored there. So again, we went into doing, for this part was taking care of the surgeon, doing some guided, you know, 3D printed guide for what they called guided surgery, you know, and then they decided to use, I think, the MegaGen as implant, okay? And this is a design with the implant, and this is a part, of course, in placing the implant guided. This is the report of which type of implant they used. Again, that was taken care by the surgeon, not by myself. And
here we are using, for the final design, we are using Exocad, okay?
Yeah.
So what you see here, this is after the tooth preparation. So we did the mock-up. We have the design already done. And what I did in Exocad was to copy each tooth. I'm basically importing the design in Exocad, and you can copy each tooth. You are not redesigning.
so the question is, why did we move in Exocad? Because
You can see the
till
design.
today, SmileFi don't have the
Margin detection.
the margin detection, but it will be released end of this month. It means, I think next week it will be released, and at this situation, I don't need to go on Exocad anymore. I can go in full pledge using SmileFi. So with this, you see with the points, I'm just applying the 3D smile design according to the preparation and the initial situation after placement of the implant. And you can see I have just 3 scan bodies because the surgeon decided not to load this one. Okay, that was his decision. He just told us, load all the others except this one.
Yeah.
So, and see how the points, and now the smile design done in 3D was totally integrated into the real situation. This is his smile design, his situation, chair side, the patient is there waiting when doing it. So this is the final 3D smile design, the one we did it. We didn't do another one. It's the same one. Just one smile design applicable to the situation before and after placement of the implant in a guided way, after preparation of the teeth for crowns. And so,
Oh.
no, sorry, something.
What happened?
Okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So this opened the door now to show you one of the most impressive things in dentistry now. I think a lot of our problems will be solved with 3D printing. Of course, we need to understand the technology, to understand indication and limitation of all this technology, and this is very, very important. And I'm very happy to say that we were among the first people, it means that went into research in 3D printed composite crown. Was one of my colleagues in his PhD, Karim Korbani. I was his director, and we did the first 2 papers technically. At that time, they thought, who were thinking about 3D printing of permanent things? And then that was in 2018. Then now everybody are jumping into 3D printing permanent things, okay? So the question that should always be raised, always be discussed, always you have to say it about 3D printing. So if you go to any of the exhibition and you move around, you will see that all companies are showing 3D printers. The question is, yes, Mr. Dean, which 3D printer to choose? Which one is good for what we are doing? How can we select it? Should we go for the coat-to-coat expensive one? Should we go for the well-marketed one? Because there is some of them very well marketed. Trust me, we have them. I will not disclose the brand, but I'll tell you, I will not pay $10 to buy one. Very well-known printers, very well-known. So you need the most important thing, that this printer calibrated to the full digital workflow of materials. At the end, you are printing something, right? We don't want a printer to put pizza in it. We need a printer to use material used in dentistry. And not only to print models. I don't need to print models. For the people that bring to print models, it's very funny. You know, I need to print a lot of things. And we are developing a lot of things. So why I'm showing frozen, I'm not doing any marketing for frozen because that's what we are using. And frozen is a very affordable one. And technically it was sent for a research proposal, and we did a reverse engineering on it, and we changed everything in it. And it was just sent because we were just testing 3D printed resin composite crowns for inlay onlys and crown. That was the initial thing. Then we get excited, then we moved more and more. So the trick in 3D printing is not the 3D printer. This is what I thought first. Then I discovered the game is not the 3D printer. The game is the post-curing machine. This is where the game is. Post-curing machine. What happened at universities, centers, they go, oh, we buy the printer, they put all the effort on printer. What do you have as post-curing machine? They will give you any post-curing machine. It means there is light inside. It's not true. After experience, and trust me, daily testing, and Dr. Hatem knows, daily, all over, we tested all post-curing machines. We reverse engineers all post-curing machines. We found out that the whole game of 3D printing is in the post-curing, not in the printer. Bring me any printer, but don't bring me any post-curing machine. Imagine, just to tell you a story, the wavelength of printer of post-curing should be between 355 and 415 nanometer. So if the post-curing machine give you less, and somebody you print, let's say, composite final only crowns, and this guy is on the beach, and he's smiling to the sun, up of a sudden, the crown will start changing color. This is a trick. So post-curing is very important, and there is a lot of them, and we are testing them with nitrogen, to remove the oxygen, especially when we are moving with bleach color in order to ensure stability of the color. And effectively, the two big projects we are into it, one done with Dr. Hatem at Sharjah University, at the Lebanese University, both, is testing in depth the changement of color of all material, any material, we are testing it. This introduction is very important to glance for you, to show you that things sometimes are not as easy as you can see. Again, go for 3D printing, be careful, do not be taken with marketing. With marketing, they can market that I am the prettiest person on earth, which is not true. So marketing can blur people. Don't move on marketing only. So, and this to show you, this is a case of Sherbel, live. No music? Okay, no problem, I can sing. So you can see, so we are 3D printing directly, and usually this printing take 1 hour 45 minutes to have the crowns. And this is the printing, the printers, this is live. This is Saturday Night Fever. This is at the clinic Saturday, okay, chair side. It means the distance between these two printers and the patients are 2 meters only. And what I want you to see, 21 minutes. We just print in 21 minutes, and we show you, we segmented so we can have them like this, not to have something crowded. Why 21 minutes? Because we have increased a little bit the support. Usually it's 15 minutes. We increased the support, it took 4 to 5 minutes more. Cleaning, with alcohol, there is some, specific procedure to follow, how to clean it. We can put it in ultrasonic. And this is the post-curing machine that we tested. We're very happy with it, okay? It's then made. And you see, curing is ongoing. You have to do it 2 phases. It's 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 6 minutes. Then there is a trick. If you are going for a bleach color, we found out that placing these restoration for 1 minute in boiling water ensure as well stability over time. Okay? After curing. Finish the curing, you put them in boiling water, then you take it from boiling water. So you see, it's a nice, but you have to know what's happening. So someone that goes, buy a printer, buy a post-curing, buy a material, then nothing will work. Nothing will work. And trust me, you know, I called the company 3 times. They don't know. It's not working. We don't know. This is why go for a support in 3D printing. Never go for the brand. Go ask, I want to meet your guy, your engineering guy. I want to meet, I want to discuss with him. Otherwise, you're dead with this. So the initial situation, the 3D smile design, and the 2D smile design of the same patient, same day, 3 hours and a half later, he was so excited. Then you know what he did? First, he didn't believe that he's not feeling pain. He went to the hairdresser. He has a haircut. And he was so happy. He couldn't believe. Effectively, what did we achieve with that? What we achieved is, I told him, these are composite crowns. These are not ceramic crowns. These are not zirconia crowns. He said, I'm happy. You will never see me again. Yeah, final cementation. I'm telling you. Yeah. 3 hours. Shopping mall. Best shopping mall. Better than going to Chanel, right? You know why? Because with this case, you can buy 2 bags. Right? The latest one, or no? I think so. So this is just to show that predictable, simple, affordable, feasible, repeatable can be done chairside. Where is the lab technician here? Doesn't exist. I have a Smile Designer support. But I don't have the conventional lab technician. Now you need zirconia crown, you know. Ask. Yeah, we know zirconia perfectly. It's very good material. But for according to this situation, this work.
And how were the implants returned?
There were 3 were loaded, you know. We used again the composite on the tie base, 8 micron, you know. We ensure that the contact is an 8 micron. And don't forget, there is a edentulous part down. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, for the implants now, it is one of the recommendations or the suggestion that you go for composite material rather than zirconia or
Yes.
because simply you are compensating for the absence of the periodontal ligament. So the composite is slightly like a little bit, not softer but flexible. So it absorbs the forces. So actually, now we are happy also with Professor Ziad Salam. He's the genius.
No. I'm spokesman of the group.
We are actually very thankful that he involving us with all those projects. So basically, one of the research project that we're working on right now is the use of the 3D printed composite implant crowns, and we look at it from different aspects and so on. So again, yeah, it's a permanent restoration, permanent crowns, either an implant or natural tooth. Of course, Prof. Ziad, he's the master, but again, the stability of the occlusion is the key of success.
Yes.
And the key of success is the stability. You have to be exactly knowing what you're doing, especially in a big case like this one. You have to have a very stable occlusion. So you don't end up with wear, you don't end up with premature conflicts. So this will, of course, composite is not ceramic, it's not zirconia, so it will wear on it. If you don't have a stable occlusion, then it is, of course, expected that you'll have wear here and there and so on.
Exactly. Thank you very much for the information. 100%. So technically, we have another option. We have another dimension, you know, another dimension. And it's very important. Especially, I can just You know, the abutment tie base, I put the crown and that's it. So with this case is an open door case. I'm not telling you you will do this for all patients coming to you, but this is a real open door case. If you want to invest in one thing now, one thing, you invest on a flow, intraoral scanner, design software, 3D printer machine. That's what I'll do. Lady in red. I recommend a 3D printer. I recommend a 3D printer that has support. I recommend a 3D printer with a support people. I recommend a 3D printer with support people that knows 3D printing, not they knows how to market. I know, I understand the question.
Support do you recommend?
I recommend a support which we are present in. Wait till January, you'll have a surprise. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So last but not least, we have the full arch implant bridge design that you can also do in the SmileFi app. So we started with a simple motivational mock-up. We then went through the shell mock-up. We then went through a more complex case, hybrid case, where we have natural teeth and we have implant cases. And now we have an edentulous patient here. So in the SmileFi app, this is our initial picture, okay, with the patient. Now, you have, I would say, two workflows here. One, if the patient has an existing denture, you can scan the denture. Basically, when you take the picture with the denture, and you can then set the points, 1, 2, 3. Again, 3D Smile Design, it's the same workflow, nothing changes. The only difference here is that we have the gum on top, because we need the gum, obviously. But if it's a denture already, okay, then we can create an ideal situation and then again print it. The second workflow or the second option that you can do is, let's say the patient is fully edentulous, okay? We don't have a denture, and we're basically planning this case from the beginning. Now, if you already have the position of the implants, you can also import the scan bodies in the SmileFi app. Now, this is an initial situation, right, with the denture, okay? And we also have the scan bodies, as you can see here on the back. We superimpose everything. It's already done by the SmileFi app. You can see we have more files here. We have the iOS prep. You can also write the bite in the SmileFi app. Here is more layers of the scan bodies. Okay, this is how it looks like. And we 3D plan. Now, if you start with the upper, the lower will automatically go in occlusion. This is, I would say it's like you're doing the upper, but then you also have the lower at the same time. And it's fast. If you would do the upper, let's say you're doing a full case, you can see here you also have the position. So you are planning not only aesthetically, but you are also planning according to the implant placement. This is the design. We have the gum. Okay. This is another case. No, it's the same case. Okay. This is how it looks like. Again, facially driven. And as you can see, this is our design that we export. Okay. Upper, lower, together.
No, this is my case. Okay. So what's to be seen, because what SmileFi was missing two things. First, the margin detection.
Yeah.
And this is one that will be, I think, dispatched this month. So next month, all these will be available. So in this situation, we don't need to move into another software for superimposition. I can do everything on SmileFi, especially with the implant bridges when designing all on 4, all on 6, all on X, all on 20, okay? And this is very, very important. Now, I will, thank you. So, back. So this is one of the cases, effectively. This is Rita, and Rita is an upper edentulous patient, very bad teeth, and we decided again to do for her a 3D smile design. So same procedure, always same procedure, as simple. 2D simulation first, then moving to 3D, and you see, same, right, Carmina?
Yeah.
We're doing the same
So
here.
this is the first option. If you have an existing denture, basically, you are designing on top of that denture, okay? And so then what you export is actually the design in an ideal position that the lab can follow for the final denture, okay? So you're not actually exporting the final denture, you are exporting the design for the lab. How many times we go back and forth when it comes to the denture, right? We really need to focus here on the patient face, okay? That's all we need. So if you initially plan the design in the best way possible, there is no way the dental technician will not, be able to follow the same design for the final. You are giving them the blueprint for the final design. And the outcome will be predictable. Will be the same. Yes?
The patient doesn't have an issue.
We print a denture.
Yeah.
So in this situation, the mock-up or the shell will be a 3D printed denture. So the 3D printed new denture, according to the new 3D smile design, will be this mock-up that we are searching for.
Okay. Again, steps 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So you remember, yeah.
What about jaw relation with using the software?
Jaw relation, you mean upper,
Talking about the edentulous patient, which you don't know is jaw relation, how you're going to reduce it?
for the edentulous part, if you give me just 3 more minutes, okay, I'm going there. So, you remember 4 weddings and a funeral and beyond, right? So what is beyond? Beyond is what is coming now. It means 4D printing. For the people that knows about 4D printing, mean printing of smart material. Material that we give some instruction, and these materials will change according. There is a change on the physical and mechanical property of these materials according to what we need. This is called smart material. The other one is robotics, and we have one small project. We are working on robotics, to see how is it applicable in dentistry. Again, just for fun. Regenerative materials, a lot of people are working on that, but effectively, what we are more interested in is this 4D printing. So, what is 4D? 4D, we don't have the voice, hello, So, she wants, again, to do, this is a surprise, Carmina, for you.
Yeah.
So, I know, she don't know that this exists. So, technically, what we did is a smile, retracted mode, and we are going technically to do the smile design, and we were testing several smile design on her, and just to show the smile design after doing it. But here I'm not interested in that. What is her main problem? Her main problem, she has TMDs, occlusal problem, speech problem. Speech problem. So anything that will be done here should take into consideration in a very accurate way occlusion. And what you will be seeing here is applicable for edentulous. So in this situation, we were testing again a software that all of you heard about. We have it as well. And this software, we did the 3D printing according to the SMILE design. And with this SMILE design, we want to test how this is so much controllable. Is it controllable or no? So after putting the mock-up, so we did this. This is called Mojo. Mojo. Mojo is a software. Mojo costs 30,000 euro for the people that don't know. It's not an affordable one. Why we got it? We got it to evaluate the relation, the precise relation between the upper and the lower, but more important, to evaluate speech and pronunciation. So, 66, Mississippi, 66, swallow, 66, Mississippi, and you will see what's gonna happen now. So with Mojo, that now we are working in integrating it in SmileFi, see what we have. Look now at it's here. You see the move? We have the exact movement, 4D, dynamic, occlusion, speech, pronunciation of the patient with the mock-up. So we have the exact replica of what we are doing. So this software can 100% give you a final adjustment for especially people with no teeth. I did not integrate. We have one case also done with complete denture. So this helps you to see that even with this mock-up, with the shell, I can have exact replica, especially speech. Think about it. A lot of people will suffer from speech after you get, we increase the length of the central incisor, or we adjust the pattern of movement. So with Mojo, the only disadvantage of this software that I think is unique now is it's expensive. But we got, it means I did not steal any bank, but we got it, and we are testing it. It's a very good one. But what if I don't have Mojo? What should I do? Again, with the new update of SmileFi, because there is 3 things coming, correct me, Carmina, if I'm wrong. Again, we have the margin detection, we have the function, and the occlusion exactly.
With Mojo.
Exactly. So technically, with this artificial intelligence, we can get it. So if we don't have it, we do the SMILE design, we print the complete denture. On this complete denture, placed intraorally, we rescan again, and we see the movement that we are having on the occlusion. Okay? So yeah, and with this paper showing about, very important for the speech sibilance and all this. This is related to Mojo. So effectively, if you see what we are working on, you can see we have 2 big projects ongoing. One is on 3D printed zirconia that is again done with Dr. Hatem, and I forgot to add Zena here because it's another project. So we have 3 projects from Sharjah University, and the big one is the evaluation of the biomechanic behavior of 3D printed resin composite things. So you remember how we start, for weddings and a funeral. The question, what about the funeral? It means what's gonna happen? This is, when dentists don't like to change. When they go out from a lecture or from any discussion and they did not get any change in their mindset. It's when we don't have scientific curiosity to see what we are showing. And especially when you stop dreaming. The moment you stop dreaming, you become dentist. When you become dentist, it's better to quit. Go and do anything else is better. So effectively, and because we had a lot of questions, lot of facially driven questions, lot of we really don't know why we don't think about it. And each time I see a lot of people posting such beautiful photos on social media. And I'm all the time was asking myself, nice, okay, but what if, okay, this is nice, right? Very nice picture. You see the teeth, I can see the lips, I can see a lipstick here. And what is the color? What is the shade? What is the interrelation between this and the teeth? And this is an outstanding question that I'm asking myself. We dentists, we're looking at the teeth. We're talking about facially driven. So let me ask you a question, especially for ladies. Ladies that work a lot in 3D, you know, smile analysis, Hollywood smile, looking only at the smile. Let me ask you a question. How do you select the lipstick according to the final shade of your teeth? What is the guidelines if you want to teach me if I want to change the patient? If I use a BL1 as lithium disilicate veneers, if I use a Rouge de Chanel lipstick that is a very, you see, I went and I got some, you know, I was trained by beautician because this is very important. What about integration of personality according to lipstick? Because, you know, 75% of our smile design work is done on ladies. And why us dentists speaking about facially driven things? We don't give some advice of what they should or should not use. I know that skin color is very important. I know that, again, it's related to personality. So the thing is, this is one of the amazing things that we are doing here. And technically, I asked Clarence, which I'm working with for developing such a project, you know, in which that just give us some, you know, lipstick that goes with your bag. Okay, this is why I was asking. And going to this white here, and if this color, you know, of what we are using is applicable to all white. So if I take all these and place it here, would I have the same result? And this is a question for ladies, for all of you. So just when we were discussing with Clarence and they gave us all these and they were explaining to me, I start thinking about how we can integrate different shades of lipstick according to the different shade of the ceramics or composite we are using. And guess what? If you use a different thread will impact differently different ceramics. So again, this is a very important thing to look at. Very excited with this project because we're trying to 3D print lipsticks, to 3D print the design of the lipstick according to the face. Of course, Carmina will help a lot in this with doing the, and on this note, effectively, I would like, because here I'm just a spokesman. Don't think I'm a Superman. I'm a spokesman, a humble spokesman. In life, to succeed, there is only one way. One way, nothing else. Collaboration, cooperation, team. If you don't have a teamwork, you have technically nothing. You cannot succeed. I am very thankful to this team because, you know, they trust me of being their spokesman, no more, no less. All the work you saw, and we have hundreds of things ongoing, they did 80% or 75%. Humbly, I just speak on their behalf. So thank you very much for everything, and I would really like you to join. Thank you, Carmina, amazing for the day. Thank you for this. I hope you are on time. Thank you. I hope to see you very, very soon. We'll be doing a more developed course together, and with Dr. Hatem, with Dean, Professor Hisham, with everyone, we will do something more developmental. What I showed today is just a glance of what we are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All of us?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Now, if we can have a group picture, it would be very nice.
Thank you.
ما أنا هلا